primary school, from post-primary school, adult education, further education, corporate training, nursing personnel, government departments, non-government departments, state agencies. So there's this whole mix of expertise, this whole mix of people with a great variety of workplace practices on the actual programme. And if I look at the whole theoretical base of the work, when you look at Boyer back in 1990, Boyer talked about the need for a scholarship of teaching. 1995, Schoen talked about the need for a new epistemology, the need for a new epistemology of practice. And in universities, the epistemology is not towards an action research approach. It's very much based on a positivist approach. And my trying to cross this divide between the self-study, people coming into the university, being able to study their own practice, but also bringing in this whole experience that they have from workplace. So they're bringing their workplace practices, their workplace knowledge into the academy and informing us as lecturers, as academics. So there's this two-way process that is not just about me doing the research on them, it's also about them bringing in their knowledge of the workplace into the academy. Okay, so that's very much what I wanted to look at today, my supporting of this kind of workplace knowledge. So if I look at my webpage here, and again, going to the action research dissertations, I just want to point out some of the areas that people are researching. Again, it's very much based on the self-studies. So, for example, Yvonne Mulligan, in her study, Yvonne is a nurse, so she's talking about how can I improve my practice as an informatics nurse training staff to use a computerized rostering system. So she was trying to find out how she could design something for the nursing personnel in her particular hospital. Teresa Hennessy, a post-primary teacher, how can I improve my practice? How can I, as an ICT coordinator, encourage and support collaboration in my workplace through the use of Moodle? Moodle being an online learning environment like Blackboard. And Yvonne Emmett going down into a government department, how am I applying learning from the master's program in e-learning to improve my practice as a training officer in a government department? So what we have is a group of practitioner researchers who are asking the question, how am I improving? How can I improve my practice? I self-study my practice. But not only that, how can I contribute to knowledge? Now this is a very different understanding of the practitioner's role. You know, we talked about that in the first presentation, whole action research, that actually they are not only improving practice through the action, but they're also contributing to knowledge through their actual research. So I'm just going to open Teresa's abstract, and I'll give you a chance just to read her abstract and show how she's bringing her workplace knowledge into the academy, and at the same time how the academy is helping her through the course to improve. Can you read that? Yeah. Just look at the very bottom paragraph here, where she talks about using a living educational theory approach to action research. So living theory is where she's studying her own practice, but it's a self-study, but she's developing the study allowed me to critically reflect on my own practice, to make explicit the values that give meaning to my work, and enable me to develop a deeper understanding of my practice. Now, how do you do that? You know, because when you come to a university situation, how do practitioners validate their claims to knowledge? Because this is what Teresa's actually saying she's done. She's actually saying that I'm actually creating knowledge, I'm validating my claims for this master's degree programme, but what's the methodology that allows one to do that? I've just put up the action planner, which was developed by Jack Whitehead, Magnificent Whitehead. I'm glad to see Jack Whitehead at the back of the room with his video camera. Jack developed the whole methodology, the big theory approach. And so the first question is, again, it's not about the technologies per se. You could see that Teresa was more interested in how am I going to get this group that I'm working with to collaborate. Yes, I'm looking at different ways, but Moodle is there, and perhaps Moodle is the approach we should be using. So the question starts, the action reflection cycles. What is my concern? Why am I concerned? What kind of experience can I describe to show why I'm concerned? What can I do about it? What will I do about it? Interesting, what kind of data will I gather to show the situation as it folds? So there's this collection of data always as part of it. How will I explain my influence in learning? How will I ensure that my conclusions are reasonably fair and accurate? And how will I evaluate the validity of the evidence-based accounts of my learning? Does everybody follow the kind of questions that you would go through in any kind of research? So when people say action research, it's not really rigorous and it's not really a valid form of research. Well, any scientific discovery always started with a problem, some concern, and you're trying to collect the data, and you're trying to gather the evidence, you're trying to then evaluate the validity. So it's all a very, very systematic approach to developing that. Any questions? Does it make sense? Yeah? Okay. So Teresa's abstract, and then I just want to open Pamela mentioned this idea that, the multimedia is so important, and it's true because, we've got all this writing, but what about this energy that the practitioner brings into their own workplace? I mean, how can you actually see what actually happens in the workplace? Because I can listen to Teresa at a validation meeting, I can try to understand what's happening, but how do I know how she's bringing her own embodied knowledge into the workplace? So, if I can show you again, I'm looking at Ronan. Ronan's a very, very different context. He was interested in how can I design a recovery-oriented e-learning website for people with mental health difficulties. So he was looking at a lot of literature, and a lot of literature talked about how to design websites, but not how to design them for people with mental health difficulties. What he was trying to do is get people with schizophrenia, various mental health difficulties, to engage online so that they would then come into his centre and engage. So I'm going to bring you just to page 67 because